the mouth to the Shivering Isles. Look at the difference, the graphics, how sumptuous it is, the detail on this. Not just on the backgrounds, not just every leaf on a tree, but looking at the clothing, at the uniforms that they're wearing. I mean, he's wearing leather and he's wearing some fur, and you're seeing all the details on every little thing. This guard right here, this guard, people are like, that's so effective. He seems to have this cold out there in the middle of this island where the winds are whipping around, and I had a cold. I was really, really sick that day. But
you didn't have to go that hard into the role, Wes.
I know, I'm method, so method. But look at that. Now, there's the door to the Fringe, and inside, what's going to happen? Oh, look at the screens. Even the screens, the loading screens look so much sweeter and more detailed. And there he is, Haskell. Look at him, sitting there all bald and boring. Haskell, your room's very dark, just like your personality. Hurry up and talk. Oh, look at the detail on Haskell's face. You can really see what living with Shea Gorth has done to him. He looks like Marley's ghost there.
I mean, this is the first time you're seeing the remastered,
This is the first time I've seen any of this, and the detail and the expression on the face, he just looks so weary, so put upon.
I am Haskell, Chamberlain to the Lord.
Well, it's been almost 20 years, so we've had a lot of ability for technical advancements from there. So
yes, and imagine
and age, I guess.
20 years in the service of Shea Gorth is going to age anybody.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Accept it for what it is.
I like his puffy sleeves there. The little Seinfeld puffy sleeves.
My Lord seeks a mortal.
Now, what would you say your favorite role has been for Oblivion, or which character do you feel like you gravitated the most towards?
Well, that's the thing. People ask me all the time, who's your favorite character to play this? And that's a Sophie's choice. Because you bring a little of yourself to every role you do. You got to bring, these are all like my children. So, I mean, I love Lucian. I love Shea Gorth. I love them all for very different reasons. I remember working with Mark Lampert for this game, and we're doing the same Imperial Guard voice, even the Gray Fox, like, capital, but he's still very much the Imperial. But then he gets to Lucian, he goes, this guy's a little different, a little darker, a little more macabre. So I think about it for a second, and I start going into this thing, and in my mind, you try to get an image of who the character is. And for me, he was twisted and gaunt and bent and just insidious.
Does it take you, is it that quick for you sometimes when you get a breakdown of a character?
Sometimes it can, and sometimes I take time. Shea was a different thing. But with Lucian, I had a, come here, Bubby. It's okay. With Lucian, the image I had in my mind as I portrayed him at first was completely different from the image of what he ended up looking like. You know, he ended up looking, they made him this gorgeous guy, you know, and when we're looking at him going, oh my God, he's gorgeous. He has a heart of darkness, the perfect man. So, but he was so much fun to do. And people say, do you know what happened to him? Spoilers. You just finish your lines. So when I'm playing the game and I get to that point in the game, I'm like, oh, you know, I'm experiencing it as well. And, oh, look at this, the butterflies. The breakaway into the Shivering Isles and the butterflies, that is beautiful. And Haskell's out of there, man. It's quitting time. Look at that, through the fringe of madness. Yeah, with Shea Gorth, I had about a week to prepare. And I was told, we want something a little more stand-up, but we want him to feel dangerous but funny. And they said, maybe something like Robin Williams. And I thought, no, Robin Williams was a bit too cuddly, you know. Shea Gorth, I'll skip rope with your entrails. I don't believe you. So
Admittedly, that would be an interesting thing to
Yeah.
see Robin Williams talking about.
I know, but I thought, where could I find my inspiration for this character? And I started thinking about different stand-up comedians who would I find dangerous, that I would love to have a drink with and laugh and joke, but afraid they might beat me up at the end of the night. And I came up with Billy Connolly, the Scottish comedian.
Oh, yes.
But I thought, I can't just do a straight up Billy Connolly. He can be my spirit animal. But it didn't seem, it felt too, he's not Scottish. And I thought, well, I've got this friend who runs the Irish Channel down in DC. His name is Tom Stack. And Tom he's from Cork, Ireland. And so there's this Irish accent. And I thought, what if, because he's got mania and dementia, this character can go between an accent fluidly. Like you think he might be Irish, you think then maybe he's Scottish when he gets more manic. But what happens when he gets deadly serious? There are a few moments where it drops completely. Why? Because everything else is an affectation. He does what he wishes to do. And so, like the brain pie line, where you'll hear all three separate things. And he's like, and he starts wondering what you're like, perhaps brain pie. Perfect! Care to donate?
That adds an extra layer of terror to his character, for sure.
And you just don't know where he's going to land with some of these things. Whether it's friendly, whether it's deadly, whether it's over the top, whether he's crazy mad. I just had to sit there and let that thing flow back and forth. And I think from what I was told later, Todd was listening to it and they weren't expecting that. And so it threw him off a little at first. And then the more he listened to it, the more he's like, oh, no, I like this. And that's who Sheo became.
And you define the character through multiple games and multiple universes.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful thing to be able to, I love more than anything trying to figure out who a character is. And the Rubik's Cube of their personality and the whole thing.
And I imagine, though, that though the character is designed by somebody else, that you get to input a lot of your influence and sort of direction on it, even still.
Well, you have to bring a sense of life to it. Whereas when someone is writing it, they're bringing their sense of life to it, their experience. But you don't know their experience, but you know the circumstances of the character, and you can build something upon the character, and then, live in that space, become somewhat that character, which is why every one of them become like children of mine.
I hope you don't become too much.
Oh, no. There are some days. The one I don't want to become the more like is Hermaeus Mora. And
that would also be terrifying, yes.
Yeah, Mel Blanc used to look at the photographs of the characters that he was doing and would base them on that, like Sosia Sirgala from Morrowind. I saw him. So every one of the Bretons seemed like an old bald guy with a goatee. But you look at Hermaeus Mora and you're like, 1,000,000 eyeballs and 1,000,000 tentacles. What does that sound like? And, I worked with D.B. Cooper as the director for the ESO. And we had to do some adaptation because he was very slow and ponderous in some of the earlier games. And with clips and lisps and clicks and all this. But I adapted it but kept it the same as well. And the explanation that I come up with, why does he sound a little bit different? Where on Hermaeus Mora do you see a mouth?
I don't even want to know where the mouth is, honestly.
I know. I think you're hearing him telepathically. And just like with every telepathic thing,
he protects the
you may have a better receptor to hear than another character would have.
Yeah, that makes
Some
sense.
people would have a less sensory perception, and so it might be a little more muddled. It might be a little more clicky, might be a little draggy, because that is how your extrasensory perception of their voice is. However, if you're a little stronger and you've got a little bit more going for you in that regard, suddenly it's a little clearer. It's like the difference between the Beatles listening to Helter Skelter on vinyl, then later on CD. Oh, it's so much clearer. Manson was like, I wasn't meant to kill anybody after all. So yeah.
Okay.
That's there. Long answer, but
It's a perfect
I
answer.
love doing it. I love doing it.
And I know you don't have necessarily a favorite character because they are your children, but do you have a favorite line that you've done, or at least like maybe a handful of lines?
I
that you've done?
do love the line where, Lucy and LeChance does say, I don't spread rumors, dear child. I create them. And the only thing that bugs me is when Knights of the Nine came in, you're talking to Lucian and you ask him about rumors and he goes, I heard there's a prophet down by the... And I'm like, no! No, Lucian, come on, man.
It's just what time did to him. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
I do love some of those lines. The cheese line really took off. I mean, the cheese for everyone.
I mean, I got you the sign specifically.
I know, look at that, cheese for everyone. It was just a couple of lines in the middle of Oblivion, and it took off and had a life of its own.
I mean, who doesn't love cheese? Though,
Everybody
for real?
loves
like,
cheese.
If somebody said it to me, I'd be really happy.
Yeah. I went to Amsterdam with the ESO crew and went to a cheese shop, bought a bunch of cheese and took a picture out there, and everybody was just like, well, there he is in his natural habitat. Cheese. And it wasn't enough for everyone. Sorry.
That would have been a lot of cheese. You probably would have you had to ransack the whole shop.
You got to go through customs.
It's difficult. Nobody wants to deal with that.
Yeah. How much cheese do you think you're going to eat, sir?
Enough.
Enough cheese. Is there ever enough?
There's never enough cheese.
No, we're still in the Shivering Isles, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we're going to traipse around the Shivering Isles for a little while.
And look at some of the faces and the hair, so much more defined.
And this is something that does come in the remastered. You get all of the DLC with it, so.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so it's the full package.
So you get Knights of the Nine.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Pelin the White Strake. I was Pelin. But it's one of the ones that people don't think about. What's the guy's name? Begins with a U. Lives in a cave. You get the Staff of Sheogorath from him later.
I'm looking at my friends off camera.
I forgot that I'd done the character.
Oh, really?
And I'm playing.
I guess when you do so
game.
many, it probably just like kind of blurs together unless it's something like really big, right?
Some of them really stand out. They're much bigger, but I was the torturer. I was the guy as the Hermes Columbus, the suicidal guy. Mm-hmm. Those are all fun roles to play. But I love how the suicidal guy is begging you to kill him, and at the end he's like, "What are you doing?" But all the voices in this are the same, so we get to hear this fella right here, yeah?
Yep.
Craig Seckler is the adoring fan. And seeing him wearing one of those...
I didn't murder him, I swear. I mean, not yet anyway.
Look at that.
Should I?
Yeah, in tribute to Craig.
I can hear them in there.
How do I look?
Lovely. It's lovely.
My sword.
Like a rock star.
Should I just keep this on the whole time? Man, you got to do that lockpick quick. I remember we did an Oblivion stream
That's a little different,
a couple
isn't
years
it?
ago. And it was like torture watching my friend try to do the lockpick and just failing every single time. But yeah, the same lock.
Watching someone play a game is fun, like this, when you're battling skeletons. When it takes them an hour to pick a lock, and they're saving and going back again and again and again, it's like, call me.
It's funny at first, and that was a live stream too. So it was funny at first, but then it's just like, okay. All right, and then stream's over, rage quit,
Lockpick, the live stream.
So can you tell us anything about your first interaction with Bethesda Game Studios, like how you started with the team here?
My first game was Morrowind. And I went, we were recording at a place called Absolute Pitch in DC. A fellow by the name of Chip Ellinghouse was recording us. But my director was Todd Howard.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and we sat there and went through all the different characters, the Bretons and different Daedric gods and some orcs and all sorts of things. We were having a good time. I do remember going down to Au Bon Pain and getting, taking a break and getting a chocolate croissant and just chatting, walking. And the thing is, Todd's always been very passionate about these games, you know. That's the thing that people do. I don't think people realize just how deeply enmeshed into the game world he is. I mean, the old top-down turn-based type games, the board games, things of that sort, and to bring the spirit of those into these worlds. And, you know, Morrowind was kind of a real departure for the Elder Scrolls, which had been much less graphically robust.
That was a nice way of putting it.
Yeah. And,
it's retro. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. And the voice acting was very sparse then. It wasn't even that much more in Morrowind, but what was there was really fun and really good to do. And I started playing that game, getting 700 hours in. You know how it goes. You think, I'm going to play for half an hour before bed, and the next thing you know, birds are chirping outside, your day is toast.
What day is it?
And you go to sleep and dream in that world. Which was interesting because I had not had the experience of I've done some games and things of that sort. I played, I think in Unreal 2, like 200 different people dying in 500 different ways.
Oh my gosh.
I was basically the equivalent of a Wilhelm scream. And this one I really wanted to play, and I got into it, and I started dreaming in that world. And when I started voicing Oblivion, I knew where to close my eyes and see the world around me. Now, maybe in Oblivion I didn't see any silt striders, and there were no boots of that would help me fly from one end to the other. Thank God there were no cliff racers.
You mean you don't want to hear the screaming sounds of the cliff racer as you close your eyes and try to sleep?
I got some real Samuel L. Jackson choice quotes in on those cliff racers along the way. But I saw that world. And I lived in that world because I lived in the world when I was playing the game. And I discovered something. The more you play the games, the more immersive your performance can become, because you know the world not like everybody else is going to know it. The games become like almost virtual reality. You're sucked into them. These worlds become sometimes even more real than your own world. I was able to take, I started working with Mark Lampert, and he was like, with the Imperial Guards, let's go less what you were doing with the Bretons. I want you just to give me, these guys are full of testosterone. And we found the voice that we wanted for that. And so the Imperial Guards are the first ones that I did. But then I started doing some of the other characters around it. I'm really proud that Lucien Lachance was one of the first voices that ever broke through the voice class system in Elder Scrolls. And by the time Shivering Isles came around, we had a bunch of different voices suddenly. It really changed things a lot. So watching it grow and doing these things, and to be able to perform alongside folks like Linda Carter, who's been in these, that our party for Oblivion, a lot of the big game parties have been pretty crazy at different places. Oblivion, in a way, was kind of a lot more sedate, but still was big at the time. We went on like this one cruise ship on the Potomac where they had dinner, and we're all out there and hanging out, and eating dinner, going up top, recreating Titanic scenes on the edge of the boat.
As you do.
As one does, yeah. And it was so fun, and getting a chance to see and talk with Linda Carter, who it turns out is also a huge Washington Capitals fan.
Also a win.
Yeah, and that the Capitals stuff came into play because when I started doing the arena announcer, I'd been doing the Capitals for about, I guess we started recording this, in 2003?
Mm-hmm.
So I'd been the arena announcer for about 3 years. And I was learning who I was and doing things. And I asked Mark, how do you want to do the arena announcer? He's like, kind of what you're doing with the Caps, only on steroids, because these are gladiators. I thought, okay, so I brought that oomph. I unleashed
the diaphragm.
fury. Yeah, good people of the city of Cyrodiil, welcome to the arena. And I started taking some of that I did with Oblivion and bringing it to the Capitals. And the two of them began to merge together until I became sort of over the top with people going, you're not old school, you're not classic, you're just a rebel punk is what you are. I'm like, okay, well, that's fine. So I'm a rebel punk, but I'm out there unleashing fury. I'm a fan with a microphone, and I'm going nuts. And a lot of the development into that started with Oblivion. What's really weird is that I've been doing that now for 25 years for the Capitals. And in that time, as other people retired and left the job, all the people who are out there saying, you're not old school, you're not traditional, started replacing the old school and traditional guys with people who sounded like me and were doing the things I did. So 25 years later, guess what? I'm old school, doing what I did when I was a young punk. So, thank you, Oblivion. Thank you, Mark, for helping change how I do things, and that's the thing. Over this period of time that we've done these games, over this period of time that we've worked with all these different characters, I'm constantly learning and I'm constantly growing and constantly grateful for the opportunity to bring new characters to life, like Johannes Verlaine in The Gold Road, where it was very emotional. It was a very emotional piece, and I was able to, as a parent, everybody has regrets. No matter how good a job you've done, you have regrets. And I channeled that into this character who died and left things unsaid and undone with his son, and is given a chance through, the magic of this world and Hermaeus and all sorts of things, to be able to come back and try to make amends. And it was hugely emotional for me.
Especially because you say you put so much of yourself into the characters you're doing. Yeah.
And after we were done and I was working with DB on, I said, wow, that one was a little intense. And she said, yeah. I love working with her. It's like a waltz. It's like a dance, But I see something after the game comes out. Somebody has a photograph of some dog looking really sad in the back seat going, who is the actor for Johannes Verlaine? They just killed me. And I'm like, yes.
Nailed it.
Because if you don't feel it, they don't feel it. And I'm a fan of the games. I'm a fan of the worlds. I'm a fan of every one of my characters. Even the bad ones have their reasons. Mm-hmm. And if you can get into that, and if you can feel that, and I can make it real for me, then maybe I'm making it real for somebody else.
Absolutely.
And it becomes immersive for them. So,
would say without question.
Yeah.
Well, speaking to that point, what do you hope that players experience or feel from the characters that you portrayed in Oblivion? Who may be experiencing it for the first time, or maybe they're returning to it and having played the previous version of Oblivion.
I think that it makes me very happy that these characters are going to get a second chance. The Imperial Guards, even in the strength of I once took an arrow to the knee. You know, even with that coming around, people still remember the Imperial Guards of Oblivion.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
I would say I see them probably second or third most from all Elder Scrolls titles, right? I'm looking at Jess over here, another Jess.
They jump scared me all
Hi,
the time. I've got core memories that I just reacted because they would spot me stealing something, and yeah.
Well, I scared myself once playing the game. Oblivion, I'm up in one of the towers in one of the Oblivion gates, and I do the Dremora, the Daedric warriors that suddenly pop up and fight and battle in the middle of Oblivion. And it's the middle of the night. I'm walking up a winding staircase, and suddenly I come out. Sorry, Finn. And I
like, I didn't sign up for this.
I jumped, and I'm like, holy hell, I just scared myself.
Well, I was going to ask, do you find that you can disconnect from the characters that you've done and your voice in the game when you're playing as a player?
Yeah, you know, the thing is, when I'm playing the games, I am the character that I'm, you know, I'm with the controller, that's me, right?
Yeah.
And then I'll listen to hear if the voice is immersive or if it stands out, if it didn't work. If it worked and it's fine, I'll let it go and I'll just enjoy the environment. That being said, there's something about people who are like, well, what do you play as? I'm like, I play as an Imperial. And they're like, every time I said, yes, yes.
That was going to be a question.
Well, yeah. I mean, if I'm going to be out there and I've got a big broadsword and I'm battling going, yeah, ha! It's my voice. I'm the one who's actually doing the battle. As the Imperial, there's something kind of meta about that.
Yeah, totally. Don't look at the screen, Finn.
Oh, man. No,
Killing a
don't.
skinned hound.
Yeah, you're not a skin hound. You're a furry hound.
Sorry, Finn.
Yes, you are.
So if you, as yourself, as Wes Johnson,
Yeah.
were to be in Cyrodiil, who do you think you would be? Would you be like an adventurer or an alchemist or a sneaky archer?
Probably an adventurer. I was always the big sword guy. You know, I mean, going out and doing stealth and climbing with trees and hitting people with a bow and arrow from a distance is kind of fun occasionally. But let's be honest, we play this game because we have had a bad day and we want to take a broadsword and chop somebody up, you know, and not go to jail for it. Yeah. Oh, look at that. Yeah.
Which is terrifying, by the way.
Yeah, big flame.
Ricardo, you're a pro.
Those are scary, and the liches. And,
I just gotta say that while I'm very excited to play this myself, I'm so glad that I have to do it on here because I would be really sucking trying to multitask.
I do love the running around, getting involved in things. Now, I know I'm not the only one that at the end of a big session, I save and decide to murder the entire town.
Yeah, totally.
Gotta
That's
kill
just what you do.
Everybody in town.
It is always important to save, especially for reasons like this. Pro
and
tips.
then you come back after you've murdered pretty much everybody, and you go back to that original save. Don't they somewhat be like,
That was
I'm
just
feeling a little uneasy
in your head
suddenly.
what your character was doing, and then it goes back and snaps back into reality.
I think all the Dark Brotherhood quests are so cool. The party is a very good one, where you have to go around the party and knock a bunch of people off and they don't know it's you. I mean, who's not had that experience?
The amount of diversity and range in the types of quests that are in Oblivion and stories that you hear are definitely exciting, and you can't wait for people to experience those or re-experience them.
So when you played Oblivion initially, what stuck out for you?
Just, I mean, the vastness of the world, like how expansive it was and how beautiful it was. I'm one of those people that plays where there's a quest marker. I'm just going to go another direction. I like, oh, what's over here? Oh, what's over here? And just the amount of surprise and gifts that keep on giving in terms of the world building of Oblivion just was like, it blew my mind. I started with Fallout 3 for Bethesda Game Studios titles.
Yeah.
So I was like not expecting to, I mean, I knew it wasn't Fallout, but I was not expecting to jump in and be like, oh, this is like completely vibrant and different and exciting. So I just loved that. And
From the
amount of
very beginning, you feel
too.
pretty guilty about what goes down.
Yeah.
I personally feel I owe an apology to Patrick Stewart. I've been
How could we?
I've been in a couple of games with Patrick Stewart and haven't met him once. Got this close at Sutton Place Gourmet in DC. Someone's like, Patrick Stewart's downstairs ordering a sandwich. I'm like, Patrick Stewart eats sandwiches. We have that in common. I eat sandwiches. And by the time I got down there, they'd this place that is notoriously slow at putting out sandwiches got his lickety split and he was gone.
Oh man, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Here you go, Wes.
Oh my goodness,
grand
look
reveal.
at that. Oh, well, look at the hair. It looks like I've been using a little Grecian formula.
So what do you think now, almost 20 years later, seeing this take on Sheo?
I've always loved this Sheo. I've loved this outfit. He looks a little bored.
I think he's just not mad enough yet.
He'll get there. Oh, there I saw. Oh, let's see the expression changing slightly.
I love the hand tap.
Yeah.
Skip rope with them.
But I think he looks a little bit more like me.
Now's not the time.
Here I've been mantling him all
Definitely.
along, and now he's mantling the old me.
Definitely the facial hair. You need to get in on like the golden eyes, though.
Well, I have those contacts for when I go out to cons and things of that sort. After about an hour, they feel like little clay pigeons on my eyeballs.
I can imagine it was probably not very comfortable.
But they're great for staring contests. People don't want to continue to look you in the eye.
Oh yeah, I can imagine it's just like darting away, and it's like I can see you now looking at me right in the eye.
Yeah.
Slay the beast.
What advice do you have for anybody that would potentially want to get into voice acting or pursue a career in voice acting?
I would say first things first, get yourself a recorder, whether it's a handheld recorder, something, we have them all on our phones now. You can build yourself a studio pretty quickly and easily, but you got to work on the dead sound. But just the handheld recorder, get some dialogue and start reading this dialogue. And when I say read, I don't mean read, because it sounds like you're reading, you've taken somebody out of it.
Right.
If it sounds like you're acting, you take somebody out of it. I need you to just become. Look at those lines and remember that your job is not just to read what's on the paper. It's to bring it to life. And voice acting also includes breathing, sighing, laughing. Make it natural. Bring emotion to it. Try different things. I do a class through a theater lab of teaching video game voice acting. And that's one of the things I work with people on, is you listen to this stuff, you record this stuff, and let it sit for 2 days. Because when you're recording or you're in the moment, ideally, you're 100% in character and you're not thinking about all these things. If you give yourself 2 days distance, you can listen to it a little more objectively.
Yeah.
And then you say to yourself, that's when your director comes in, or your technical director. Never while you're performing. But when you're listening back to it 2 days later and you go, okay, I could have done this, could have done that, because you're not just training your voice, you're training your ear. And that's hugely important. In anything, to succeed at something, you got to do it. And so I tell people in my class, this is their homework assignment every week, and they get something, or they get little lines and things of that sort to work on, and we discuss it, and what did they hear, what are they doing, and I don't ever listen to it. I want them to listen to it, and then we discuss what they've done. Because when that 6-week course is over, whose counselor are they going to be leaning on? Their own.
Right.
And you want to, the people who were not really serious about it, stop.
Yeah.
The people who were serious about it continue to do those recordings, continue to do something, knowing that every time you go out for an audition, you look at places like on Reddit, they have Casting Call Club, where you can go in and maybe get yourself a job doing mods. And, you know, it's important. First of all, if you do a mod and you do it well, you're going to have stuff that you can use in your demo.
Right.
Also, these people are up-and-comers in the industry. And word of mouth is very important. So if you can start on a ground level with somebody who's starting out and they begin to know you and trust you, and you grow and learn together, that's the best. So I would say, if you want to do it, do it. And make that part of your job is going out there and looking for auditions. You can look on Backstage. You can look at Actors Access. If you're in the DC area, there's a thing called DragonutConnects.com that shows free auditions. And then you go to Casting Call Club online. If you do take my course, we have a Discord group. And it's just full of my alumni, and they all share.
I'm sure everybody is really helpful and
they help each other
with their experiences.
And that's the thing. Work with people who are working, not with people who are like, oh, I could do it if I wanted to.
Everybody thinks
if I really wanted to, I'd be better than anybody else. Have you been doing anything about it? No, but someone will offer me a job eventually. Now you got to chase everything down. You got to do it because you love it. That's it. Nobody's getting rich doing this, but you have to love it.
Yeah.
Oh, and God help me, Jess, I love it.
It's great life advice.
Yeah, that is just great life advice. You heard it. Do it.
That young
professional
Balwad's
here.
not going to get any older.
And then you can immortalize yourself forever in a video game.
Yeah.
Multiple characters, like Wes, if you're lucky.
And to see this come back all these years later, and it's going to be, I think this is going to be huge. I think people are just going to love it all over again.
Well, they don't have to wait much longer because it is available today.
Go get it.
Go get it. Go download it. It's on Xbox Series X, NES, and day one on Game Pass. It is also on PC and PlayStation 5, so...
And I don't know what you're waiting for. You're sitting around. It's not going to just drop into your lap. Go find it. Go get it.
I got nothing to add to that.
Get you.
Thanks so much. Thank you so much, Wes. And Finn.
Finn?
You're an excellent co-host, Finn.
Finn, say bye-bye to all the peoples. Bye.